Baseball International. Reflecting back on Game 4 of this series, the Cardinals are thinking of the chances that were missed, while the Giants are saying silent prayers of thanksgiving. The Cardinals weren't the only ones looking to the heavens for some help as the teams prepared for Game 4. Would the series be even or 3-1? With a starter who was unbeaten in his postseason play, the Giants liked their chances, but Livan Hernandez stumbled early and the Cardinals got the early lead. Then, in the bottom of the 8th, Benito Santiago answered the fans' call, creating some October magic. He crushed one for a 2-run, game-winning home run. Now the Giants lead the series 3-1. Questions are, will Kirk Rader take his team down the highway to Anaheim, or Matt Morris take them back to St. Louis? Major League Baseball International welcomes you to the National League Championship Series. We are back in San Francisco. This may be the final game. It is not an uphill climb for the Giants anymore. They need just one more win. And are the winds blowing in their favor? Well, there are some winds here today in a ballpark that is surrendering some home runs in this postseason. The wind is blowing out towards center and right, at least for the start of this game. And no clouds surround this ball game. San Francisco Giants win it. They're going to the World Series. Cardinals will end up going home. Giants lead it 3-1. For San Francisco to get this close, it is so seldom that you get the opportunity. The last time the Giants made it to the World Series, St. Louis Cardinals, if they're going to celebrate, they've got to come from behind 3-1 down. Last time it happened, the Atlanta Braves did it. The Braves down 3-1 came back to win against the Cardinals, and they did it in a big way as they wrapped up their series with a 15-0 win. Now it's the St. Louis Cardinals who want to do what the Braves did, come from behind. Leading in a best-of-7 series 3-1, 60th time in postseason that has happened. 51 times the leading team has gone on to win it. 96 Braves Cardinals the last time it didn't happen. Welcome everybody around the world and all the ships at sea. Gary Thorne, along with Rick Sutcliffe. We talked about those Cubs in '89. There was a guy who started one of those games for Chicago whose name was Rick Sutcliffe.
Yeah, but it wasn't Game 5, the final game of that series. And the reason we lost that series was a 2-out base hit by Will Clark in the 8th inning, driving in 2 runs. Ironically, that's been the key to this series, people getting 2-out base hits and those that don't.
And keys in this series, it's been talked about all year, Barry Bonds and the impact he has on the game.
Well, there's a time we have to go after him, how we're going to try and go after him. But in all cases, we're going to, we respect him and we're going to pitch him like he's a dangerous hitter. And the game dictates what you're allowed and not allowed to do. The strategy is judged on whether it works. So it didn't work, bad strategy. But, Bonds is the most dangerous hitter in the game right now. And it's tough to walk in that clubhouse with giving him a chance to get the hit that beats you. No, Santiago's been very tough, but that's a little easier to take.
For the Cardinals today, Rick, if indeed they're going to be able to come back, at least they have their #1 starter making this start.
They're absolutely excited about that, too.
And a game plan, obviously, that didn't work in Game 1. Now he comes back in this game. Do you change that plan?
I'm going to go out there and keep my same game plan that I had in Game 1. I don't think I ever was able to get to the execution part of it. I was up in the zone, and some of the games that I pitched well in the playoffs, they seemed to go real slow for me, and I was able to remember a lot about them. And the other day was kind of a blur, so I'm going to focus on making pitches, keeping the ball down. I know that's what I said last time too, but I'm serious this time.
He'll try and get it done on the mound. Now at the plate for the Cardinal hitters, Kirk Reeder's the man they've got to beat.
Well, the Giants will tell you they think he's really their big game guy. He may not win more games than some of the other starters, but they know what they're going to get. They're going to get a guy that throws strikes and a guy that fields his position as well as anybody in baseball. A few more victories, and Kirk Reeder would have won a few Gold Gloves himself. Look at J.T. Snow knocking the ball down, but Reeder is always there. The key to Reeder, he knows he has to stay down in the zone. If he's at the knees, he'll be successful. If he elevates, the Cardinals could win another ball game.
He makes the start today after a 14-8 regular season record. Look at the bottom, his career numbers against the St. Louis Cardinals: 9 wins and only 3 losses. Now the wind's blowing out. There are home runs being hit, and he gave up 22 during the regular season.
It's been a lot warmer here the past couple weeks, and the ball seems to be carrying a little more than it did during the regular season. But you know, I don't know if it'll be to my advantage or disadvantage. I take the same philosophy here or on the road, even though you know this is a more of a pitcher's park. You still have to make your pitches. Because I mean, this park has proven that you can give up home runs. I mean, obviously Barry hits a lot of them here, so you know, you just have to go out and try and execute your game plan and make your pitches.
The baseball season is some 7 months long. Only once, for the first time at least, does a team know that if they do not win, there is no more baseball. That's what the Cardinals face today.
Championship Series, only Dennis Eckersley and Mariano Rivera with more.
These are not good numbers for the St. Louis Cardinals. They were .333 coming into the series with runners in scoring position. They are nowhere near that now, including a 2 for 17 in Game 4. For Cardinal manager Tony La Russa, it's all about chances missed.
It's kind of the reverse of yesterday. They had a bunch of chances early and didn't capitalize, and we came back and won the game. The day we had some early chances to add runs, and we didn't. That comes back to haunt you.
Well, it was a combination of, I guess, good fortune and, you know, Levo not wanting to give up anymore and us playing good defense. And, you know, that was a ball game, and it was an opposite game as last night because they kept getting out of trouble, and tonight was our night to get out of trouble. We left a lot of men on base last night, and they left a lot of men on base tonight.
They hope those are going to be winning white hankies here in San Francisco that they are waving for their Giants, who have just taken the field. Take a look at the starting lineup. St. Louis Cardinals, brought to you by MasterCard. Fernando Vina, Miguel Cairo back in at third. It's his second start of the series. Jim Edmonds, Albert Pujols. Eduardo Perez gets a start against the left-hander. Edgar Renteria, Eli Marrero, Mike Matheny, and Matt Morris.
Most people think it's going to be a pitcher's duel tonight. The key to those games are leadoff men getting on, and Fernando Vina needs to do more of that for St. Louis. Kirk Reeder on the mound, nicknamed Woody by his teammates. But when I talk with Rich Aurelia, when I talk with J.T. Snow, the one guy in a big game that they'd like to have on the mound is this guy right here. You look at the ERA, you're not going to see many strikeouts. You're going to see a guy that throws a lot of first pitch strikes, and I really look for him to pitch well here tonight.
He's counting on the defense behind him. It's been very solid so far. Meet the Giants on the field.
Benito Santiago, catcher, Puerto Rico.
J.T. Snow, first base, USA.
Jeff Kent, second base, USA.
David Bell, third base, USA.
Rich Aurelia, shortstop, USA.
Barry Bonds, left field, USA.
Kenny Lofton, center field, USA.
Tom Goodwin, outfielder, United States of America.
So here we go for the St. Louis Cardinals, an all-or-nothing baseball game. And for the Giants, a chance to go into the World Series as a wild card team and create the first World Series wild card matchup that there's ever been. Fernando Vina will be leading it off for the St. Louis Cardinals. Sun has almost gone off the field. A little bit you see out there behind the left fielder, center fielder, but it's not going to have an impact on this ball game. It will be twilight time for the early part of the game.
Well, last night Fernando Vina made an impact on the baseball thrown in the very first pitch by Livan Hernandez with a double.
And they need him to get on base. He is the trigger to their offense. 5 for 19 in the series. First ball hitting. That is a fair ball. 1 pitch and 1 out as Snow makes the tag. Reader's gonna like that.
He just does everything right. He made an adjustment from last night, knowing the aggressiveness of Vina. Makes a real good pitch. Watch right here. Watch JT Snow come and get that ball immediately. Instead of protecting himself and going to the bag, that would have been a difficult play for a left-handed pitcher, which Kirk Reader is. He just makes it simple by coming and getting it himself.
Miguel Cairo now is in the lineup with the left-hander pitching. Kirk Reader, the 31-year-old lefty. It's a revised Cardinal lineup because of the southpaw on the mound. Cairo, of course, has had a magnificent postseason. He started in game 1 of this series, but he has not made another start prior to tonight. 7 for 12 with the 5 RBIs in postseason play. 1-0 pitch by Reader. He takes it outside, and the count goes to 2-0. Kind of ironic you'd have Miguel Cairo setting a new league championship series mark with consecutive hits, and then as soon as he stopped hitting, he's on the bench. Strike taken.
Yeah, I think a little sense of urgency here, possibly panicking somewhat by the Cardinals. A lot of offense, hopefully, for Tony La Russa, because with the moves he's made, you're giving up some defense.
2-ball 1 strike count on Cairo, who had the 7 for 7 in postseason play before anyone was able to get him out. That one up the middle. What a play made by Reader. That was headed for the wickets. 2 down.
Just like Greg Maddux or Mike Mussina, Gary, you know, when you got a guy on the mound that throws a lot of strikes and he pitches down, you have to be aware and ready to field your position. Look at the perfect positioning by Kirk Reader. He knows he's not going to throw many fastballs by people. They're going to be put in play, and when they are by a right-handed hitter on a pitch on the outer half, more than likely it's coming back at you. Be ready to get it. He was in perfect shape.
Takes that out away in a hurry, and there are 2 down, and here's Jim Edmonds. Edmonds takes the strike.
And look at the adjustments he's making. All right, he got Vina, then he falls behind Cairo. You fall behind, they're going to be more aggressive. He doesn't make that same mistake here to Edmonds.
Edmonds against left-handers during the year hit .262. It's about 70 points lower than he hit against right-handers. So that, as they say, numbers that are by the book. Inside corner strike, 1 and 2. And if early matters, Reader has got a good early. He's on.
He's down. When he's down, he's on. You're right.
He'll get a lot of ground balls when he's pitching well with that sinking fastball. 1-2 delivery to Edmonds. Outside, didn't chase it. 2-ball 2 strike count.
That was pretty funny. Dave Righetti, the pitching coach, telling me just the opposite tonight of last night. He said the key with Livan Hernandez, he's got to throw 90 miles an hour. He said the key for Kirk Reader, he's got to throw under 90.
2-ball 2 strike delivery, and it'll go full 3 and 2.
You can see there with the 85 miles an hour. That's the comfort zone for Kirk Reader. That's when his command and location is at its best. In the first game of this series, he was throwing close to 90 miles an hour. Even Rich Aurelia, the shortstop, said, what's he doing? What's going on here?
Edmonds, a 300 hitter, lifetime off Reader. Fouls that one back. And it'll stay at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Edmonds a key in this lineup as a left-handed hitter against the left-hander to be able to get on base, get guys in front of him, get some RBIs. Not an easy task for him when a southpaw is pitching, even though Reader's a southpaw. He's had some pretty good luck against.
Reader's a guy that you're comfortable with. He's not going to strike a lot of people out. Most of his strikeouts will come against left-handed hitters.
3-2 delivery. That one's going to be to left field. That's Edmonds Field. He loves to take the pitch the other way, so he continues his hot hand against Reader. A 2-out single in the first inning.
Woody Williams was telling me before game 1, the brighter the light, the more Jim Edmonds shines. And boy, he has put on a show. He has 4 RBIs in this series. No one else in a Cardinal uniform has 3 RBIs. Edmonds' on-base percentage right at 400 for his career in postseason.
That'll give Albert Pujols the opportunity. He's batting in the cleanup spot in the game. A couple of RBIs in the series, 4 for 15. Takes the fastball outside, ball 1. When you have a game like this that could end the series in the home yard of the team that's up, the crowd, like every play, every pitch, every batter, is almost like the 9th inning of another game. 1-0 delivery. They want it so bad. They want it to be over right now. They want a giant win right now. That's something the players have to kind of battle against, don't they, Rick? Not to get ahead of themselves.
You know, and then that can hurt a finesse guy like Kirk Reeder. When they start yelling and screaming for the strikeout, he gets a little bit out of his game plan. That, to me, is what put him behind in the count after getting ahead with Jim Edmonds.
2-0 delivery, and he falls behind here to Albert Pujols. 3 balls and no strikes. So Reeder, after getting a couple of easy outs, has a base hit off him and now goes 3-0. Green light here for Pujols early.
Yeah.
Takes it for a strike.
That's his decision. Some hitters aren't comfortable. You say, well, he was taken all the way there. Well, that doesn't mean that Tony La Russa didn't give him the freedom to swing the bat.
Yep.
The great Tony Gwynn, 8 batting titles, would never swing at a 3-0 pitch. He said, I know on 3-1 I'm going to get the same pitch.
3 ball 1 strike count. Runner off first base. Pujols takes that to the hole, and he's got a base hit. And that pitch was up right in the wheelhouse for Pujols, and a couple of singles. 2 on with 2 down.
Absolutely exactly the same pitch he saw on the 3-0 pitch. The difference is the more pitches you see from a guy, the more comfortable you are. And that was a big time swing right there. I think Reeder's real fortunate this ball doesn't go out of the ballpark. Look at that. I mean, right at contact, it was right around the belt. And that was just a little too much top hand for Albert Pujols, or it'd be 2-0 St. Louis.
Reeder's starting his way again in this first inning, as he did in game 1 when he pitched. He loaded the bases in the first, but got out of it without giving up a run. Now he's got 2 on with 2 down.
Well, this is Tony La Russa right now. He's banking on the fact that Eduardo Perez is going to drive in runs. If he don't, they're sacrificing a lot of defense. You don't have Tino out there. You don't have the speed of J.D. Drew. Some plays aren't going to be made. To make up for that, you have to score.
And Eduardo Perez got all of his offensive numbers against left-handers. 271 off lefties, 143 off right-handers. Perez takes it for a strike. 2 on, 2 down. So he's in the lineup to hit the southpaw. That's his job, and here's exactly what the Cardinals wanted. Runners on, he's up.
The location there. That's what it's all about. Use that infield defense if you're Kirk Reeder.
That one drilled in the air to left field. Barnes is there, and the Cardinals continue to struggle for that big hit. 2 for 17 with runners in scoring position. Yesterday, they're already 0 for 1 in this one. The Cardinals have a chance and leave 2 on. Let's take a look at the starting lineup. Brought to you by MasterCard for the Giants. Kenny Lofton, Rich Aurelia, Jeff Kent, Barry Bonds, Benito Santiago. Tom Goodwin gets the start in this game in right. J.T. Snow, David Bell, and Kirk Reeder.
What has happened to Kenny Lofton? On base all 3 of his first plate appearances in game 1. Nothing since then. On the mound, the guy who started game 1, Matt Morse. 17-game winner during the season. Had some shoulder, some hamstring problems from time to time, but everything's healthy now.
Lofton up, takes the pitch inside for a ball. Charging in, Miguel Cairo from third base. Now this is not the best defensive alignment the Cardinals have behind Morris. And Tony La Russa will be the first to admit it. He's got to get Cairo in the ball game. He's got to get Eduardo Perez in the ball game to hit against the left-hander, so that forces some movement. 1-2 count on Lofton.
Well, this forced the hand of Tony La Russa. Watch what happens when Kenny Lofton hits it out. Get going. He didn't. And then he flipped the bat at Tony La Russa, and the Cardinals dug out. The next pitch Kenny Lofton saw was at his head, and he's not had a hit since then.
Amazing, isn't it? 1-2. Whether that really has something to do with it or not, you're never sure, but it is a fact that since that home run and then the next at bat when he was hit and when he was thrown at and the bench is emptying, he has not had a base hit since. Morris with a breaking ball. It's down and into him. 2-2 to Kenny Lofton.
And I'll guarantee you, I know Matt Morris well. If he gets an opportunity tonight, he's not going to miss Kenny Lofton.
Lofton is 0 for 14 since then. A check at third. Jeff Nelson says he did not go around. And a 3-ball, 2-strike count.
I knew he was good, but I didn't realize he was that good. Watch Mike Matheny here on this breaking ball. It had no chance at all to get by him, and immediately he's yelling, hey, Checky.
That one hit in the air to right center field, but it is a big meadowland out there. Perez puts it away. That Cardinal defense looks like this.
Mike Matheny, catcher, USA.
Fernando Vina, second base, the USA.
Miguel Cairo, third base, Venezuela.
Edgar Renteria, shortstop, Colombia.
Eli Morero, left field, Cuba.
Jim Edmonds, center field, USA.
Eduardo Pérez, right field, Puerto Rico.
There is Albert Pujols, who's making the start at first base. So in this series, he has played left field, third base, and first base. And they're doing it, as we said, to try and generate some offense. Morris gets the first out on Lofton and gets the strike to Rich Aurelia.
You know, it's a little bit easier to do with a pitcher like Matt Morris on the mound, a power guy. You wouldn't want to put that defense out there with a controlled ground ball type pitcher like Kirk Reeder.
0-1 count. Morris breaking ball. Look at the bend on that thing. 0-2. You could see that ball move about 2 feet as it came in.
You know, we saw that same breaking ball in game 1, but we didn't see it in this location. We figured this was going to be a pitcher's duel. We looked at 1-0, 2-1 when it began.
Jammed him that time and gets the strikeout. Aurelia retired. So Morris starts out hot as well. And there are 2 down.
Take a look at the scouting report. It really has been a key issue with the umpires in this series. Tim Wilkie, he can get big at times, and in particular for the hometown team, a little inconsistent, particularly late in the game. Had a lot of pitchers umpires the last 4 games of this series.
You're not complaining though, as a former pitcher, are you?
Wondering where were they at when I was playing.
That's what I thought. Here's Jeff Kent. Kent's gone 5 for 16. The ironic part of it for Kent is he doesn't have an RBI yet in this series, and obviously he is one of the big RBI men for the Giants.
And you know, talking to Dusty Baker last night, too much pull. You know, a lot of power hitters will do that. They get into that pull mode rather than driving the ball to all fields. Dusty said if he were just to hit one hard ground ball to the second baseman, he'd be locked back in.
All 5 hits this series have been singles for Kent. Dusty Baker, what Rick was just talking about, he's talked with Kent about. That one is popped up to first base, though. Pujols called off by Vina. Vina backing up, puts it away. And there is that little breeze blowing out. Good start for Morris. He retires the side in order. We've completed 1. No score. Put a former major league pitcher to work here. If you're going to win, what do you got to do in this game?
Well, I think there's a couple of keys. First of all, Matt Morris has to control his nerves. He admitted it, and I think that was a big key for him to say, hey, I was nervous. I got out of what is comfortable for me. On the other hand, with the Giants, you got to keep the speed of that fastball down. Thus far, both guys have gotten it done.
We go to the top half of the second inning. Reeder waiting. Reeder was 9th in ERA during the regular season. He rarely walks anybody. Only walked 1. 2.4 every 9 innings. That was 9th best, the 9th best ratio.
I think he benefited more than anybody with the improved defense here with the Giants. A year ago, his ERA was 4.42. It was well under 1 point below that this season because they tightened things up a field.
Edgar Renteria. Talk about some keys, Rick. We were talking about this before the game. Renteria is noted for having some big hits in postseason play. He is 1 for 15 in this series and 148 in 7 games.
You know, and his overall career postseason average under 230 now.
It's not been a good postseason for Edgar Renteria. He's had a lot of fly balls, little loopers that have gone to right the other way as the Giant pitchers have worked him away, and he's tried to either pull it or just reach for it and end up hitting it off the end of the bat.
And I don't know why he hasn't made an adjustment. To me, he needs to get closer to home plate. And then that fastball on the outside corner is more so in the middle to you. You can reach it, you can hook it, and you can pull the ball if you need to.
1 ball, 2 strike delivery to him. He's had good numbers off Reeder. He's 8 for 34 with a home run lifetime. Both of these pitchers have seen the opposing lineups in a lot of at-bats.
Look where his back foot is. And watch what happens with the front foot. I mean, now you get caught diving because you're leaning out over the plate, but he needs to move that back foot closer to home plate so that he can reach the ball and do something with it with authority on the outer half of the plate.
3-2 delivery to him. He takes that one to the hole, and he's got a base hit. So Renteria is on with a single. That'll be hit number 3 for the Cardinals.
He wants to pull the ball. He's made up his mind that he's going to do that. Take a look at the location there. What happened? Again, the ball was up a little bit. Kirk Reeder knows I've got to stay down. If you stay down, that ball's not hit near that hard, and David Bell or your shortstop Rich Aurelia could have gotten to it.
So the leadoff man is on in Renteria. Now, how aggressive will Tony La Russa be in this must-win ball game?
You're not going to be able to steal a base off Kirk Reeder, but you're going to be able to hit the ball on the ground at will. So the only thing possible is the hit and run.
Eli Marrero 3 for 12 in the series.
You're not going to see a sacrifice bunt, I'll promise you that.
Pitch out, how about that? 1-0.
That's a little surprising to me. And you know what could have happened? I can see Dusty's frustrated right there with looking down, kicking things. Coaches changed their signs, and there was a couple of hit and runs last night, and the Giants might have thought they had Jose Oquendo signed at third base. Well, they changed him.
Got fooled. 1-0 delivery. That's outside. And a 2-0 count on Eli Marrero. Cardinal problems. Been on the base paths, not moving runners around the way they need to, and then not getting big hits. See how that works out here tonight against Kirk Reeder. Reeder beat the Cardinals during the regular season and a 9-3 career mark on him. Runner goes, hit and run was on. Marrero tried to punch it that way but fouls it off.
No, I don't like that. With a 2-0 or a 3-1 count, I like putting the hitter on his own, letting him be selected. If it's a 1-0, 1-1, 2-1 count, then yeah, I mean, the pitcher is back in the count as well. But when you're 2-0, 3-1 as a hitter, you want to backleg it. You want to hit it as far as you can. With the hit and run sign on, you have to kind of protect yourself a little bit. And again, I think they're playing a little bit too conservative.
2 ball, 1 strike count. Throw over to get him back. Eli Marrero is called on again to do it. Kendo flashing the signs at third after La Russa's handed him out. It's such a temptation in this game in particular, must win for La Russa to overmanage. I mean, he's had enough experience. He knows not to do that. Hit and runs on again. Here's Kent. Slow hopper makes the play. Renteria ends up at second base. Marrero retired, 1 away. Trying to take that ball behind the runner.
Yeah, but they weren't going to let that happen. Take a look at who covers here. Watch Rich Aurelia. They'll make the sign here, okay? He's going to be the guy that covers. Jeff Kent is going to stay home. The reason why? Look at the location on the pitch. It's going to be away. You're not going to be able to pull that ball. So that's why you take your shortstop away from his normal position. You leave the guy at home where the ball is most likely going to be hit. That's tremendous communication by Rich Aurelia because he is the captain of that infield, and he makes that call.
Now it's Mike Matheny called on for the hit the Cardinals can't find. He takes a strike. Runner at second base and 1 out. Postseason numbers for Matheny. In this series, he's 5 for 15 and has hit in 7 consecutive postseason games. 0-1. It is almost impossible to do what the Cardinals did yesterday, and that's go 2 for 17 with runners in scoring position. That is an unheard of number. Number one, 17 chances is about double what you get in a game. And to have just 2 hits, almost by accident, you will get 3 or 4 with that many chances. They couldn't do it. 1-1 breaking ball is outside, 2-1.
Boy, guys at third base with less than 2 outs, not getting them in.
Cannot win in those situations. He knows it. They met with the hitters today. Tony La Russa telling us before the game, going over a game plan. They have got to have some RBIs. 2-1 delivery. That one punched foul.
They were also talking about the base hit by Jim Edmonds and Vigna not scoring. The one knock on Tom Goodman that has kept him from being a big league player for a long time is he cannot throw. And when you got your leadoff man at second base and you get a base hit that is hit in the direction of Tom Goodman, I mean, that's a lot. You're going to tie the game up. The Cardinals didn't.
And Goodwin is in right field again, starting this ball game. 2-ball, 2-strike count. Runner off second base, Renteria. And again, punched. Those weren't 2 really good swings. They were just protecting the plate for pitches he didn't dare to let go by, but really didn't want to go after.
Kind of looked like hit and run swings, didn't they?
They did, didn't they?
I just, you know, they've been so conservative this whole series. Matt Morris came out nervous in game 1. We saw Vigna nervous defensively here in game 3. And their base running, that's a whole nother story.
Big hole between first and second, and maybe Matheny's trying to get it in that hole. 2-2 delivery. Another one he punches that way. Not quite sure what he wants to do with that, but that's the same swing 3 times in a row. He's put on a ball that Kirk Rita continues to throw down and away.
Well, the one thing Matheny has done well throughout the postseason is put the ball in play. And when you do that, you give yourself a chance. And he, at 361 for a career on base percentage, is one of the best in a Cardinal uniform.
He was a good clutch hitter during the regular season for this team. Matheny ended up with a 278 average with runners in scoring position. Anytime with runners in scoring position, you get up around that 280 mark, you're doing well. You get over 300 and you're in exceptional territory. Trying to hold the runner close. Aurelia behind Renteria at second, and Matheny's making Kirk Reeder wait. It is considerably cooler here tonight than it has been for the previous 2 games. Temperatures dipping down near 60 here at the start of the game. 2-2 pitch again the other way, and again fouled off. Well, Reeder got the first 2 batters of this game on 5 pitches. Since then, he's thrown 31 pitches to 6 hitters. So one thing the Cardinals are doing, they may not be on the board, but they certainly are upping the pitch count.
You know, but he does it so effortlessly that on a cool night like this, you know, you don't even care about velocity with him. I think sometimes the tireder he gets, the better he pitches, because the more sink he gets to that fastball.
Again, the 2-2 delivery to Matheny, and that one right at Jeff Kent. Runner moves up, 2 down. Renteria at third. Take a look at the umpiring crew for this crucial game in the National League Championship Series. Tim Welke's got the plate. Charlie Relaford, Randy Myers, Jeff Nelson, Dale Scott, and Jeff Kellogg. 19th season for Welke at home in his 4th league championship series.
I think you'd agree with me, partner. They have been terrific, too. So many close calls that they have gotten right.
I don't think they missed it. Yeah, they've been on it. Renteria's on with 2 down now. Morris will try and help himself. Right field. Goodwin was in. The back up. Puts it away. So the Cardinals left 2 on in the first inning. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 left on here. Still no big hit. Bonds is coming up. Major League Baseball International's presentation of the 2002 National League Championship Series, brought to you by MasterCard. There are some things in life money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. Alcatraz Island, no longer a prison in the federal system in the United States. Cardinals are going to feel like they're in Alcatraz if they don't get a win here. This ballpark has yielded some home runs in the postseason, even though it is known as a pitcher's ballpark in its young 3 years of existence.
How about that? Already more home runs in a postseason series than any other one.
Amazing.
14 homers with the one Benito hit last night.
Bonds at the plate. You saw the number of at-bats he's had, about half of what the other regulars get because of all the walks and times he has pitched around. Only 9 at-bats so far in this series. Morris coming right after him. He's 3 for 14 off Morris. Drives that one to the gap. Right there is Eli Marrero, an atom ball. Bonds is retired. 1 away, second inning.
You know what, though? I think Matt Morris just won a victory for his ball club, as if to say, you know what, we're tired of being afraid. All right, I started it all with all of the walks that I had in game 1. You go back and he walked 3 guys. He walked the first guy of the game, Kenny Lofton. He scored. Matt Morris looks like a guy that's on a mission tonight. So you know what, boys, I'm not walking anybody. If I'm going to challenge Barry Bonds, you know he's going to go right after the rest of them.
Benito Santiago gets a big ovation. The game-winning home run that he put on the board after the walk to Bonds in yesterday's game. Santiago now in the postseason, 11 RBIs. He has been just sensational for this ball club. 6 RBIs in this series, in which he is hitting .353. 2-0 count from Matt Morris.
Well, just such a great story. You know, every day we get a little bit more of it from manager Dusty Baker.
Dusty Baker talking about the fact that after the accident 3 years ago, Benito Santiago didn't know if he was going to come back and play. He shatters a bat. Oh, what a play made by Cairo. Cairo had the barrel of that bat coming right at him and had to avoid it while still trying to watch the baseball, and he did.
You know what, Gary, they talk about good infielders, how they have a clock. They know when to speed up and they know when to slow down. This is a pretty good time right here to slow down. That thing, I mean, that's like a sword coming at you after it had been splintered. Again, another good fastball by Morris, a 2-0 count. There, Cairo, first of all, you think about, you know, your life. And then second of all right, now I'll go get the baseball.
Cairo getting his second series start at third. Punched foul by Tom Goodwin. Goodwin getting a start in this ball game in right field. Change in the lineup for the Giants. Sanders has struggled a bit, to say the least, in the series. So they get the left-hander in against Morris. Left-handers a little better during the season off Morris. 267. Right-handers 255. 0-2 delivered a good one as a fastball that just missed inside. 1 ball, 2 strike count.
And you know what it did? It not only gives him a physical day off, but it gives Reggie Sanders a mental day off as well.
Right there. Morris has started out hot as he retires the first 6 he faces. He has picked up 2 strikeouts in the game. 28-year-old right-hander who's trying to prolong the St. Louis Cardinals season. Maybe. Where can you find the latest stats and participate in live chats? MLB.com. It's the place for live game audio and video. You get player profiles, historical facts, updated scores, all the news on the latest with all 30 Major League Baseball teams. Shop for authentic Major League clothing and drop us an email, won't you? We'd love to hear from you. TV questions at website.mlb.com.
You know, this is normally a good sign when your leadoff hitter is leading off again for the second time in just the 3rd inning. But usually that means you've scored some runs. They still haven't.
Pena took the first pitch there. He grounded out on the first pitch of the ball game. There are the numbers that he has put up so far in this series. Top of the order with Cairo and Edmonds to follow against the left-hander Kirk Reeder. Pena is just 4 for 31 off this left-hander in his career. Grounded again. Snow. 1 away.
Well, you got to give the pitching coach, Dave Brigetti, a lot of credit for fixing the delivery and recognizing the problem of Kirk Reeder. Right here, take a look at the angle on the first pitch of the game to Fernando Vina. Look at the pitch here that he gave up the base hit to Jim Edmonds on. When the arm angle is higher, you get more sink to it, and you get the ground ball. Take a look. The one on the left, look at the late sink. Look at where that ball was hit. The one on the right, the arm had dropped down again, hence there was no sink. The ball didn't start sinking until it got into the outfield in front of Barry Bonds.
So one down on the ground out. Brigetti working with his staff all season long to produce some fine pitching numbers.
You know, they talk about his intensity. That was the first thing Dusty Baker liked, that being Dave Brigetti. But he also talks about his intelligence. I mean, you've not only got to be able to tell a big league pitcher how to get a hitter out, but mechanically sometimes you have to break things down.
That one fouled back by Miguel Cairo, who lined out his first time up.
You know, Kirk Reeder could have gone home that night going, you know what, I've lost my sinker. What happened? You know, you see the result, it's not sinking, but what's the reason? Something happens long before that creates that. He got him to slow down his body a little bit, get his arm back up on top, and he's got a shutout going here in the third inning.
1 ball, 2 strike count. Outfield straight away on Cairo. Takes it to the right side for a base hit. So Miguel Cairo is on, and the Cardinals have picked up 4 hits now, all singles off Reeder. So they get another man on with 1 away.
Take a look at this pitch right here. It looks like Reeder tries to hump up on it a little bit. Watch him right there just kind of jump. It's like he explodes a little bit right now. Take a look at the release point. Needed to be a little bit more in here. Instead it's up top. Do we get any sink to it? Take a look at it. Look at how it just stays flat. It just kind of sails a little bit rather than having that little hump to it that he needs to get ground balls.
Now he's got to face Jim Edmonds, middle of the lineup, up against him one more time. Edmonds took the ball the other way for a base hit. Edmonds talking with the home plate umpire, Tim Welke. I think he's trying to get a balk call, or he can at least get the umpires thinking about it. He was indicating where Reeder's arm was going when he made the throw to first.
You know, and where his foot landed and all of that. We've heard that Jim Edmonds worries about a lot of things that he really shouldn't.
1 down. Edmonds takes that pitch for a strike.
Look at how he got it fixed, though. Right there, all of a sudden the sink came back to that fastball. I mean, intelligence on the part of Edmonds not to swing at that pitch. Look at the downward movement. Look at Benito, how his glove just continues to go down. And instead of catching that in the pocket, he actually caught it in the web of the glove.
Single for Edmonds, first time up. Big time breaking ball. The fine stop is made on by Benito Santiago.
They're going to have to fix something with that breaking ball. He's not come close with it to a strike, and he's going to have that to get Jim Edmonds out.
Down goes to 1 ball, 1 strike. Brigetti will give the signs to the catcher as to whether or not he wants a throw made to first or a step off by the pitcher. He's not calling the pitches. 1-1 on Edmonds. Pretty good lead for Miguel Cairo. He faked the goal. Edmonds fouls it off. And it's a 1 ball, 2 strike count.
You know, if things continue to go as they have all year long for Kirk Reeder and the Giants, if I'm Dusty Baker, I take him out right now. Because if he starts a game and gets a no decision, they're 11-0. All right, maybe I don't take him out now.
Now that would be an early hook.
That's amazing, isn't it? It tells you one thing. You've got a team that can come back, as the Giants did last night. You got a great bullpen.
1-2. That one hit in the hole. Another base hit. Making the turn is Cairo. Goodwin, who's got the weak arm, won't get it there in time. And there's some positive base running, as Miguel Cairo had no intention of stopping at second base, and Edmonds has got his second hit.
Well, the last night the hit and run was on with Pujols hitting and Edmonds at first base, and he took off, but all of a sudden he stopped and did not go on to third base with nobody out. Check out Cairo right here. You know what, Gary, there are players sometimes that aren't afraid to take a chance. They want to be the difference between winning a game and losing a game. That's what you're looking at here with Miguel Cairo. He knows that it's Tom Goodwin out there. I don't think if it was Ichiro Suzuki, he was still going to try to test that arm and make something happen. That's a big-time player and an effort.
Look at this. 2 for 17 yesterday, already 0 for 3. The longer this goes on, the more it gets into the minds of the Cardinal hitters. You've got to find a big hit here to just open this thing up so that they aren't thinking about failure. Pujols takes the fastball inside.
Let me correct myself. If it was anybody but Ichiro,
that's right.
Ichiro would have thrown him out by 30 feet.
Albert Pujols was a .340 hitter with runners in scoring position this year, among the best in baseball. 1-1, and he rips that one foul the other way.
And that's where he does most of it, to the opposite field. That keeps you from rolling over on a sinking fastball or something off speed and hitting it on the ground. Let the ball get deep to you. Let it get to home plate before you make contact with it, rather than making that contact out in front of home plate.
Last night the Cardinals out hit the Giants 12-4 and lost. They've already got 5 hits here. Strike 3 called on the inside corner.
He doesn't get many of them. That being Kirk Reeder in strikeouts. His rate this year of 3.4 strikeouts per 9 innings was the lowest in the National League by a left-hander in a 200-inning season since 1979. You see there, Pujols getting caught. Look, now he does what I think Edgar Renteria needs to do. Get up on top of the plate so that you can handle the ball away. But with 2 strikes, you've got to protect. And again, a runner in scoring position and nothing for St. Louis.
So now there are 2 down, runners at first and third, and Eduardo Perez stands in. Flied out his first time up. Pitch is taken away for a ball. Perez has had only 3 at-bats.
Tell you what, I'm glad it wasn't me making the call on that fly ball Perez hit in the first, because I would have started a home run call. I thought he hit that ball like a bullet, but it must have been just slightly off the end.
It looked like it was going out, but it came right into Bonds' glove, right at him. 2 singles, Cairo and Edmonds, both coming with 1 away. They're on at first and third. And Perez, another RBI opportunity. 3 have already been stranded in the first 2 innings. .0 pitch is outside, 2-0.
Eduardo has seen his father, Tony Perez, in these RBI situations succeed so many times. It has to be a confidence type thing that he receives from watching that. You know what? He looked calm in that pitch hit appearance when he hit the home run.
It's the kind of hit the Cardinals need right here. Outside to him, and the count goes to 3 balls and no strikes. Edgar Renteria waiting on deck. How about Rick, the fact Reeder's already thrown 57 pitches in the ball game?
Well, if he can get out of this inning, it may help him, because he may settle down a little bit and that body not be as strong.
3-0 delivery. Fastball right there for a strike. 3-1 to Perez. Waiting, hoping, the Giants, that this will be a win and that they'll move on for another World Series appearance. It's tough to get this close and not want to just dive for the finish line. You gotta play 9. 3-1 delivery, grounded towards the hole. Kent going over, makes the play, got him. Amazing. No runs, 2 hits. 2 are left on base. Reeder gets defensive help, and the Cardinals have picked up right where they left off yesterday. Already 0 for 5 with runners in scoring. Welcome back, everybody. Gary Thorne, Rick Sutcliffe, our crew on hand here in San Francisco. Kirk Reeder works out of another jam, living dangerously, but nothing up on the board.
What did the headline say in the well, we take a look at Dave Righetti talking to him, just reminding what we talked about earlier, how he can keep from getting in the tough situations he keeps putting himself in.
JT Snow leads it off against Matt Morris.
California dreaming. Is that what they're doing here in San Francisco?
Anaheim's awaiting.
I'm going to Disney World.
Could be an
Disneyland.
Could be an all California World Series if the Giants get there.
I'm going to see Mickey. Not Mickey Mouse, but
Hatcher.
Mickey Hatcher, the hitting coach for the Angels.
2-0 delivery to Snow. Inside out to left field. Eli Marrero, fair territory. One away, 7 in a row retired by Matt Morris.
You know, right now we just don't know which team on the field is going to go with us, Gary. We know we're going, but Matt Morris looks like a guy that wants to join us. This is the guy that we have known throughout. This is a guy that we saw last year in an elimination postseason game, Game 5, divisional series against the eventual World Championship Diamondbacks. He hooked up in a pitcher's duel with Kirk Reeder. He didn't receive a decision in that game. The only run he gave up, ironically, was a home run to Reggie Sanders.
But you saw the Giants have a secret weapon. That was Darren, the son of manager Dusty Baker. Now Darren, who's 3 years old, is perfect. 5-0 with the Giants when he's a bat boy. Grounded towards second base. Fernando Vina makes the play. Bell is retired, and there are 2 down here in the 3rd inning.
About Dusty before the game. We'll take a look at Darren now. Not only is he the bat boy, but he's part-time bench coach, and he's also an assistant pitching coach.
Absolutely.
He was telling Dusty last night that in the 8th inning, when the first guy got on base, J.D. Drew beat out an infield single. He said, "Dad, bring Nin in."
You got to go to the pen, he told his father.
That's his.
You got to go to the pen. There's a grounder off the glove of Morris. Vina's going to have to hurry this throw, and does. Good play. Reeder is retired, so 9 straight set down by Morris. Morris has thrown just 30 pitches through the first 3 innings. Kirk Reeder has thrown 59. Darren is 5-0. See, I told you. See right there? 5, Dad. 5-0.
In those kids' eyes, looking up there, not only learning to play the game of baseball, but anything that you can pass on to them that'll help them later on in life.
You know, we talk about the window of opportunity. That's the first time I've ever seen it. Right there. The window of opportunity. So often quoted about in sports. Now you've seen it.
It's trying to close on these Cardinals.
You saw it here first.
Matt Morris right now is the only one holding it up.
Sun setting here. Another beautiful day in San Francisco. These great shots. Hitting. Aha. What do you think? Morris again. And Morris is coming right in to pick the ball up. I mean, right in. So Lofton, who in game 1 hit the home run, flipped the bat, created a disturbance. Morris came close to him. The dugout's emptied in game 1. This time Morris puts it right between the middle bones of the bat.
See, this is where Kenny Lofton brings it all on himself. You know what? Instead of worried about yourself and putting on a show, get on down to first base and look for the sign from the third base coach. You're the leadoff hitter. You haven't been on base in what seems like a month. You ought to be happy that he gives you an opportunity to go down to first base. The reason you got hit was because the last time you hit a home run, you took too much time admiring it. You know what? Barry Bonds hits homers and he watches them. But when you've got 600, go ahead and do it. Kenny Lofton doesn't have 600, and he's going to bring a lot of that upon himself. I just tell you what, I'm in shock that Morris would do it leading off an inning. I knew that if he had an out, or if he particularly had 2 outs and nobody on, or if he had a base open, he was going to get him.
Now, I did not see a warning issued, Rick. The home plate umpire did not warn. So we do not have that warning in effect where if another batter is hit, the pitcher would be automatically removed from the game. That did not happen. Aurelia's up, Lofton at first, and the game heats up. Bunted. Nobody's at first. Now Vina gets there, and they get the out. A sacrifice, though, by Aurelia.
You know, all series long, we've talked about Rich Aurelia giving the Giants exactly what they need. Whether it be an extra base hit, whether it be a defensive play, He hit a couple of home runs that were the deciding factors in game 2. Well, when the situation calls to put Lofton into scoring position, sit back and watch Kent and Barry Bonds, he's more than a teammate enough to do that.
So a runner in scoring position in this scoreless ball game. Lofton and Jeff Kent coming to the plate, still looking for that first RBI in this series. Takes the breaking ball for his strike. Kent, who finished the year with 108 runs batted in, his 6th consecutive 100 RBI season. He's got an RBI chance here. He was 8th in batting average, 2nd in hits, and tied for 9th in RBIs.
I mean, it's all about pride. That's the reason that Matt Morris hit Kenny Lofton. You show me up, you're going to pay for it. But if Lofton's able to touch home plate, it defeats the purpose.
That one driven to center field by Kent. Big yard. Edmonds back, and he puts it away. Runner will tag, and Lofton goes to third. Kent retired, and there are 2 down. Is it my imagination, or is the ball not carrying as well here tonight as it has over the last 2 games?
Well, for the opposition, it only carried out of this ballpark 42 times all year long. And this isn't a staff built with Randy Johnsons and Kurt Schilling. These are guys that are hittable, that take advantage of the dimensions here. And I don't think it hurts anybody more than it does J.T. Snow, Rich Aurelia, and Jeff Kent.
Bonds up. Pitches outside for a ball. He flied out to left. You have a runner at third, 2 down. First base is open. Do you pitch around him here?
I think they're going to try to come in on him and knock him off the plate.
1-0 delivery. Bonds takes it to left field. Another Adam ball. Marrero's there. That's 2 line drives. Bond has hit to left field. Marrero's been able to make the play. Just see him turn around and look. Morris is looking at Lofton. Lofton hit by a pitch is left stranded. It remains scoreless. Don't say baseball is not a competitive sport.
It's called hardball.
Yes.
And that's what Matt Morris played with Kenny Lofton. Take a look at what happened here. This was the last at bat for Lofton. Watch Mike Matheny's signs. Curveball? No. No, I don't want to throw a curveball. Fastball away? No. Fastball in? That's exactly what I want to throw. Now look where I'm going to throw it.
And then he walked right in. Got anything you want to say? I'm right here.
Here I am, big boy.
Now he's hitting. Morris is leading off the inning against Reeder.
No, nothing's going to happen.
Oh, darn. 1 strike count.
It will at some point, because that's how Dusty Baker plays the game, but probably in spring training.
Morris flied out to right field his first time up. 1 ball, 1 strike. Vigna and Cairo to follow. No score. San Francisco does not have a hit yet. Cardinals have 5. Cardinals have stranded 5. Morris has no walks, 2 strikeouts. Reeder no walks, 1 strikeout. Pitchers have been in charge.
I'm telling you what, Matt Morris just lit a fuse underneath his teammates. He said, boys, I'm out here to win this ball game and gain back some pride and respect that we have lost.
2 ball, 2 strike count on him.
And I want to emphasize, that's the way the game is played, Gary, at the big league level, when it's what you do making a living. You don't play the game like that at the college level, at the high school level, and in particular the little league level. Play the game. There's no retaliating that goes on there. Let the coaches take care of all of the problems. But at this level, when this is how you make your living, well, you know what? Every now and then you've got to protect your house.
And that will happen, as we said, later. 2-2 delivery. That one to right field. Good one right there. Morris is retired. 1 away in the 5th inning. These 2 pitchers are on.
You know, Dusty Baker won't be able to say it because Kenny Lofton plays for his team. But even he gained some more respect for Matt Morris. And the whole key was that Lofton didn't score. If he scores, then it was a bad move because you put your team in a situation where they might lose.
1 down here, and that will bring up Vigna at the top of the order. He is grounded out to first base twice in this game. Reeder Hits the pitch in for a strike. Game is really moving along, with the Cardinals having chances in the first 3 innings, and then Reeder retired the side in order in the 4th. That's only the 2nd time in 2 days that a Giant pitcher has retired the Cardinals 1-2-3. Pitches away in a 1-ball 1-strike count, but the Giants won the ball game yesterday, and it's zip in this one.
Well, you know, the one consistent statistic as far as the winners are concerned are the team that leaves the fewest guys on base. Well, right now that team is the Giants.
1-1 delivery, got it in and fielded another one. Boy, is he helping himself on the mound defensively. 2 down in the 5th inning.
The Gold Glove Award is given to the best defensive player at each position, supposedly. It doesn't always happen that way, because for a pitcher, you have to be a name. You have to win 20 games, and Kirk Reeder has not ever done that. But had he had a 20-win season, he'd probably have 6 or 7 Gold Gloves on his mantle. He's that good.
The Reeder's got 2 away, and Miguel Cairo coming up. Beautiful sunset continuing, and almost gone here at twilight time in San Francisco. Cairo claimed on waivers from the Cubs August of 2001, puts that one to Bonds, and Reeder's done it again. So he retires the side in order the last 2 innings. That's 8 in a row that Kirk Reeder has set down. And as this one moves along, it looks more and more like it's going to be a 1-run ball game. Major League teams. You can shop for authentic Major League clothing, and you can drop us an email. It's TV questions at website.mlb.com.
You can't find those orange things they were blowing up last night, beating together there, can you?
Those thunder sticks?
Is that what they're called?
They are right there. They're called thunder sticks.
I had that noise in my head at noon this afternoon when I was going to lunch.
Amazing, isn't it? I said today when we were driving over, it reminded me of the Olympics. And every Olympics tends to have a certain noise to it, that there's some kind of a noisemaker, and you hear it throughout the Olympics at every venue. This year in the postseason, these thunder sticks have shown up everywhere, and they're batted against one another, and it becomes a constant noise. Well, tonight they handed out nice cotton handkerchiefs. We deeply appreciate that. Jim Edmonds takes a strike.
That's like that Henri uncle that always gets your kid, you know, the drum set when he's 7 and
then goes home.
Yeah. It leaves you with the drum set.
Edmonds has had 2 singles in the ball game. 2 of the 5 Cardinal hits. He'll be followed by Pujols and Eduardo Perez. There's no score after 5. St. Louis 0-5-0. The Giants 0-1-0. Some difference than when these 2 pitchers matched up in game 1. 10 runs had been scored after 5 innings in that game. Not tonight.
Well, they continue to let Kirk Reeder off the hook, and all of a sudden he's settled down. He's got command of that fastball, both sides of the plate. Breaking ball still missing, though.
1-ball 2-strike pitch to Edmonds is right there, and he knew it. Second strikeout for Reeder.
Well, last inning we've got to look at some of the unaggressive swings by the Cardinals. I mean, right, he's not gotten 1 breaking ball over tonight, and Jim Edmonds takes 3 fastballs on the outside corner. That's just that's hard to believe.
Pujols has had a single and been called out on strikes. He takes the pitch outside for a ball. Reeder against the Cardinals in game 1 lasted only 5 innings, gave up 5 runs on 9 hits. Nevertheless, he got the win in a 9-6 Giant victory. That one hit in the air to center field near the warning track with room, though. Kenny Lofton. Long fly ball 400 feet away by Pujols.
No, it wasn't. That was a home run. Just about anywhere else in baseball than here, and also in the conditions we're playing under right now. You hit this ball in game 3, it's long gone. But because we're playing the game later at night, it's cooler. Right at 7 o'clock here in San Francisco, Kirk Reeder continues to roll.
Beautiful sight here at Pac Bell. 10 in a row retired now by Reeder. And Eduardo Perez is going to make him wait a little bit. Perez has flied out and grounded out. Cardinals have gone 3-1 on the road. They've got to go 4-1 to keep the spaceball season alive. As the Giants try and wrap up the National League pennant. Outside for a ball.
Take a look at Eduardo Perez, and I think this is what Edgar Renteria needs to do with that back foot being as close to home plate as he can get it. That means if he's not perfect on that outside corner, Perez is going to be able to hook that ball and possibly hit it out. It's just almost impossible for anybody to hit it out to the opposite field. Now, I don't include Barry Bonds as just anybody.
2-0 count on Perez. Bader's delivery is swung on and missed. Eduardo Perez appeared in 96 games, made just 24 starts during the regular season for the Cardinals.
Take a look here, Gary. Look at the back foot, how close he is. Now watch the pitch. Is it perfect? Yeah. But you see, he has got that outside corner covered, which is something Renteria has not done yet.
2-1 delivery is down low, and a 3-ball 1-strike count on Perez.
He didn't have anything to show for it yet, but I tell you what, he's not getting cheated up there. This thus far was a good move by Tony La Russa.
And he's on as he picks up the first walk surrendered by Reeder in the game. It comes with 2 down here in the 6th inning. And the tension builds as we roll along here in this game 5, because the opportunities not been many. The Cardinals got a couple on in the 1st inning with 2 down, left him stranded. Another runner, leadoff batter on in the 2nd, left stranded. 2 more on in the 3rd with 1 out, and they could not move him home. Since then, Raiders just shut him down. That's the first base runner since the 3rd inning for the Cardinals. Right side of Kent, off his glove. And it won't be far enough away for Perez to move up. It'll be a single credited to Renteria, who's now 2 for 3 in the ballgame.
Most second basemen make this play. You sacrifice a little bit of defense with Jeff Kent. He doesn't have a real good quick first step. He doesn't have a whole lot of range, and he doesn't have the softest hand. But you know what? For every run he possibly lets in, he's going to drive in 2 or 3.
This will bring Righetti out as Eli Marrero waits at the plate. Benito Santiago already out there with Kirk Reeder. There's been bullpen action already earlier in the game. Jay Watasic was up and throwing.
And that was just in case that Dusty Baker, with 2 men on in the bottom of the 5th inning, made the decision to pinch hit for Kirk Reeder. He just didn't like the possibility of somebody getting a base hit with 2 outs. And I understood that at the time, because Matt Morris is throwing as well as he can possibly throw, which is real good. Right now, you've got to keep them from scoring a run, and Dusty Baker is obviously concerned about Kirk Reeder getting that done.
He gets both Rodriguez and Air up. Left-hander Air. 2 on. Eli Marrero. There are 2 down.
He's right on top of the plate. Kirk Reeder needs to recognize this and do something on the inside part of the plate to get him to move a little bit.
Another scoring chance for the Cardinals. That's outside. Marrero's grounded out and flied out.
That zone tightening up a little bit.
Oh, it looks like it.
And goes.
That's the inconsistency you were talking about by Tim Wilkie. Welke behind the plate. 2-0 count on Marrero. And he'll take the strike.
I don't understand that. 2-0, and you get something straight in the zone. I'm used to seeing guys come out of their shoes swinging at that pitch.
They have been hesitant offensively in this game. Marrero towards second base. Jeff Kent's got it. No runs, base hit, 2 more left on. Cardinals just cannot find a way to pick up a run in a ball game that they must win. St. Louis has not picked up a hit with a runner in scoring position in this ball game. Top of the order coming up for the Giants. We go to the bottom half of the sixth. Scoreless. Comes in from the Giant bullpen.
I thought he was really one of the big keys to the victory last night for San Francisco. Top of the seventh, Vina with the base hit. Renteria sacrificed him into scoring position. You've got Edman and Pujols coming up. Dusty Baker went to the pen, brought in Felix Rodriguez, and kept the game tied at 2-2, leading up to Benito's heroics.
He will face Matheny, Morris, and Vina, due up for the Cardinals. Rodriguez to Matheny, who chops it foul. Rodriguez, making his fourth appearance in this series, has worked 3 2/3 innings and has given up 1 hit. A couple of strikeouts and a couple of walks against the Cardinals. Matheny leading it off, trying to get on so Morris can move him with a sacrifice. I mean, 1 run is what you're going to play for, no matter which team you're on at this point. Matheny's got a 7-game post-game hit streak going. He is 0 for 2 with a couple of ground ball outs so far tonight. Rodriguez, the 0-1 delivery. Up high with a slider, 1-1.
It's not that I didn't believe you, partner, but I didn't remember that base hit that he allowed. I had to go back and look. That was back in game 1. He gave up a base hit with 2 outs to Edgar Renteria.
He's been virtually unhittable latter part of the year. Felix Rodriguez we're talking about. 1-1 delivery. You get breaking ball right there. 1-2 to Matheny.
Back on July 20th, Felix Rodriguez was hittable. He had an ERA then of 6.34. Absolutely nothing allowed since then.
Cardinals have got to win to keep their season alive, and we are in the 7th inning. Scoreless ball game. Reeder worked 6. No runs, 6 hits, a walk, and 2 strikeouts for the Giants starter. 2 ball, 2 strike count.
He was always the 8th inning setup man for Dusty Baker until he struggled the first part of the year. You would think, as well as he's pitched, that he would get his job back being the 8th inning guy. Well, Tim Worrell, who took over that position, look at Tim now, he's just not giving it up.
Great for the bullpen to have Rodriguez down that order. You can bring him in a situation like this. 2-2 delivery. Matheny takes it outside, just missed. 3 ball, 2 strike count.
It's just inconsistent. I told you. It's not from just guessing. I had several years with Tim Welke behind home plate. It's a ball, definitely, but not always.
But sometimes it's a strike.
Well, the crowd sure wanted it.
3-2. It gets a little more pensive with each pitch, moving deeper into this ball game. 3-2 delivery. Matheny takes that towards the gap in right center, staying up and off the end of the glove of Lofton. On the way to second base, maybe 3. No, gonna stop there. Good play to get it back in. A double leading off the 7th inning for Mike Matheny. As Lofton got there, but it tipped off the end of the glove.
You know, that wasn't even as tough a play as the same type ball that was hit in game 3 in the 3rd inning by Fernando Vina. This ball hangs up a long time. Lofton took a couple of different routes, and even though he didn't take the direct path to that ball, look at him coming in, back out, now he'll back out again. He still gets there in time to make the play, but doesn't do it. That's got to go as an error.
It's a base hit. I agree. That ball's got to be caught. Now the bunt on by Morris. Takes it for his strike. He's trying to move that runner up to 3rd.
I'm not writing down base hit yet. I'm keeping score in ink tonight, and I don't want to have to change it.
They could change it. Official scorer can change it.
You got a pencil I can borrow?
I don't.
I'm just going to leave it open now.
Morris had 5 sacrifices during the year. If he bunts the ball hard, the Giants want to try and make a play at 3rd. Taken down low, 1-1. They are holding Bell, the 3rd baseman, back to cover. Charging Snow hard from 1st. If he bunts, Morris wants that 3rd baseman to handle it so that the runner can get into 3rd without a play being made on him. Matheny is not particularly fast. It is bunted. Rodriguez looks to third, throws it there, and doesn't get him. 2 on, nobody out.
He knew who the base runner was. It's the opposing catcher, Mike Matheny. Absolutely no speed at all. But Matheny does a terrific job of base running after a pretty good bunt was laid down by Matt Morris. Take a look. He gets in there just in time. Plenty of time to beat the throw. But look at David Bell. He had the bag blocked with his foot. Watch what happens to the foot. Look at it come up. It just caught the corner of it on the backside. Obviously, he got there in plenty of time to beat that throw, but David Bell doing everything he can to keep Mike Matheny from getting to that bag.
In our pregame, Rick, we spent a lot of time talking about the Giant defense. It has only had 1 error committed in the series, how strong and supportive it's been. Here in this inning, it's let him down. Kenny Lofton didn't make the play on a fly ball in center that looked like it could be caught, and Rodriguez unable to get that ball to third base in time to get it out.
Well, and you say, why did Felix Rodriguez try to get that throw? Why not just get the out at first base? Well, that call's made by Benito Santiago. There's no way a pitcher can see what's going on behind him. He has to trust his catcher. And Benito was hollering third all along, and I really think that was the wrong call.
The Cardinals are 0 for 6 with runners in scoring position. Fernando Vina's up. The infield is in. Runners at first and third. Giants obviously not going to give this run up on a ground ball if they can prevent it. Do you send Matheny, a slow runner, on contact in this situation?
Well, in last night's ball game, Tony La Russa didn't. In the second inning, Matheny hit a double. Vina sacrificed into third. Vina hit a ground ball to second, and Matheny didn't move, nor did he score.
Vina puts that one out to left field. Bonds, runner tagging is Matheny at third base. Bonds has it. He'll make the throw to second to hold the runner at first, and the Cardinals are on the board. A sac fly for Fernando Vina, and a 1-0 Cardinal lead. The second RBI of the series for Vina.
Well, that sacrifice attempt anyway, even though it goes as a fielder's choice, finally works for Tony La Russa. And the reason is Fernando Vina. Take a look. He puts the ball in the air. Oquendo says right away you're going. But look at the key. Look at Matt Morris tagging over there. Barry Bonds knew that. If he tries to make a throw to home plate, Morris would have easily gotten to second base. The double play would have been out of order. Even though the fans booed Barry not making a throw to home, that was the right play.
Now Miguel Cairo with Morris on at first base and 1 down. And Vina did that after grounding out his first 3 times in the game, and he has had a ton of ground balls in this series, but he got the job done. He had a productive at bat and got the ball in the air when he needed to.
Different type pitcher. You take the sinker ball guy out in Kirk Reeder. You got a power arm out there in Felix Rodriguez, and he was able to win that battle.
Miguel Cairo, that's a base hit. Morris had a hold up. He'll go to second and stop there. Cairo's on with his second hit of the game. He's 2 for 4. And the Cardinals first and second and 1 out.
I don't know if we're going to have a game 6 or not. And I don't know where, if there is a game 6, Miguel Cairo is going to play. But he's got to be somewhere, doesn't he? He has been the difference in this ball game. He has been the only guy at home plate that was aggressive early in the game. He was aggressive defensively. He wants to get this thing back to St. Louis, and right now it looks like he may do that.
And we have not talked about Scott Rowland again, the injured third baseman who is with the team and is on the roster, but he's still unable to play and not clear at all that he's going to get back in this series.
He's getting closer
every day. We keep waiting.
He played catch yesterday. He took live batting practice in the cages today.
Rodriguez to Jim Edmonds, who fouls that one back. Runners at first and second and 1 away.
But the problem with that is that they don't know how sore Scott Rowland will be tomorrow from that activity.
And Tony La Russa told us today, Rick, is also concerned about swinging the bat more than he is about playing defense.
They thought he might be able to put him out there defensively. Now you're not going to take that chance. I mean, you just have to hope that you can get his bat back into the lineup. A couple of big bats out of the lineup tonight. Tino Martinez, Scott Rowland. That's an expensive bench.
Expensive.
Tony's got tonight.
But a nice bench to have available here, La Russa. You're really a man shy over there with the injury to Rowland. Rodriguez, a couple of hits given up here in the inning, a run in. Edmonds with an 0-1 count has singled twice in the ball game. Rodriguez inside to it. Jim Edmonds is 0 for 8 against Rodriguez in his career. St. Louis now out hitting the Giants 8-2, and over the last 2 games they've out hit them to this point 20-6. But that has not meant much in the run department. Edmonds 1-1. Again goes the other way, but fouls it off, and he really wanted that one. He thought he could drive that ball the other way and missed it.
I think this is a perfect combination thrown out there by Dusty Baker. You got a guy earlier that was throwing 84, 85 from the left side. You bring in a right-hander now that's touching the mid to upper 90s. That'll frustrate a lot of people.
1 ball, 2 strike count. Fans up applauding for the strikeout. You got a slow lead runner and Morris, the pitcher, out there at second base. 1-2 delivery and a rainmaker right up the silo chute. Benito Santiago coming back. That'll be just over the screen in the first row. It'll stay at a ball and 2 strikes on Edmonds. That's what we were talking about the other day, Rick. Most ballparks, that's a pretty easy play for the catcher because there's going to be another 7, 8, 10 feet of room. But in Pac-Bell, that screen is very close to the plate. So it gives batters an extra chance where in other yards they'd be out.
You know, and Benito to begin with didn't even break as if he was going to have a play on it, because very few times in this park do you as a catcher.
Still 1-2. Long look. Felix Rodriguez. Edmonds takes it up high. Everybody knows just how important this inning is with only 1 away. None more so than the Cardinals, who finally are able to get a run in. They're still looking for a hit with a runner in scoring position because the run comes on a sac fly. They're still 0 for 6 in that department. Game slowing down to a crawl because it's that important. 2-2 delivery. Edmonds off the fist.
Well, what an at-bat by Jimmy Edmonds right now. Tough pitches thrown by Felix Rodriguez, and yet he has to record the out that he's looking for. Left-hander and a right-hander up and throwing in the Giant bullpen. Obviously a lot of concern. Our manager Dusty Baker.
Both teams full bullpens available in this game. Giants because they want to end it here, and the Cardinals because they've got to win it. This will be the 7th pitch of this at bat to Jim Edmonds. Dave McKay leaning out, shouting instructions. Edmonds reaches, pops it up left field. Bonds. 2 down.
We mentioned to begin with the guy that had to get it going was Fernando Vina. You didn't expect an RBI. You thought he might have scored a couple of runs, but he was not able to get on base. But as of right now, the difference. Mike Matheny, as always, doing an outstanding job catching. He is the only guy to touch home plate thus far tonight.
Now with runners at first and second, here's Pujols. Pujols delivered a single in the first inning. He struck out with 2 on in the third and flied out in the 6th. Morris off second base. Cairo off first. 1-0 Cardinal lead, a run in here in the 7th inning. And the fastball's up high, ball 1.
was trying to think along with Tony La Russa. If Pujols were to get on, both Eduardo Perez and his option to pinch hit with Tino Martinez, just 0 for 1 against Felix Rodriguez.
This is up high again, and Pujols ahead on the count now, 2-0.
But if I'm Tony La Russa, I'm thinking about Tino Martinez's glove in this ball game in the bottom of that 7th inning.
You definitely want that defense out there. La Russa will make that decision based on whether or not the Cardinals can add to that precarious 1-0 lead that's on the board. Felix Rodriguez kind of all over the place here so far in this inning of relief work. Pujols got that one out to left. Bonds is there and makes the catch. 1 run in on a couple of hits. 2 more left on base. 7th inning stretch time in San Francisco. PA announcer Rennell Brooks Moon.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your caps. Here now to perform God Bless America.